Well, everybody, the time has come. I'm pretty bummed about it, to be honest. I've been driving Econolines and E350s specifically since about the mid-2000s. We even made a video with Jeff Lenoski, Trail Boss. What's up, Jeff? Comparing my trusty E350 against his Transit, and the time's finally come. I'm gonna see what all the buzz is about here. We just got this 2024 all-wheel drive Transit EcoBoost, and today we're gonna bring the tape measure with us, go inside the vans, and show you guys the difference in width, length, height, what that's gonna mean for us and our build out that we're gonna be working on here in the future. So before we go inside the vans, a little bit of interesting info. When we put these things side by side and measured them out at just over 19 feet and found the E350 extended is actually a little bit longer, just by a few inches. However, the wheelbase, center axle to center axle on the Transit, is nearly a foot longer. I think that's gonna do quite a bit for stability. And it'll be interesting to see how it drives and maneuvers around, but I think it'll make the body and the chassis, like, you know, how it feels when it's rolling in the canyons or in the crosswinds. Obviously, we're gonna have height to deal with, so there's a lot of factors that are gonna be really interesting for us to evaluate, right? I've combined put several 100,000 miles on Econolines. I will say the extendeds are a bit more wobbly out back, especially when you get them loaded up in the wind or in the canyons. So I'm excited to see the ride difference between the two, and we'll kind of check in as we go through the build process on the Transit. So moving into the inside, we'll get the tape measure and start checking out width, length, and height. First off, we'll start with the Transit. Much more modern, as you could imagine, right? That thing's 2010 and this is a 2024, so things have evolved quite a bit. The window thing is a little bit weird, having like the big split in there, but I guess it is what it is. I will say that the seating position, you feel kind of more like you're driving like, I don't know, like a box truck or something. Like the steering wheel feels like it's kind of down at your lap. You're kind of up high in the windshield. Whereas the Econolines, you kind of sit down more in the seat. You know, the steering wheel's at about your chest height. So I like the ergonomics, to be honest, like the driving position of the Econolines better already. It'll be interesting to see how we adapt and adjust to this, but the way the steering column comes up and the angle of the steering wheel is just, it's a little different. And you kind of just feel like you're driving a bus with that wheel. But we got the big display here for awesome backup camera, sensors all over the place. So the driver assist and correction and stability are gonna be really nice features for us to have on this thing. And then, yeah, aside from that, cup holders, lots more storage, overhead storage, which is really neat. So more in the doors, big improvements there over the Econoline. So the Econoline's got the barn doors, back and side. This has the big old slider, which will be nice. It gives you a big access when it's really windy. Stuff won't be slamming shut, which is kind of nice. But as you can see, we've kind of already started the process here a little bit, but tall step in. Right now, without anything inside, I can fully stand up in the mid-roof. In the beams, though, I got a duck. And once we get, you know, 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch of the floor, and then the ceiling in, it'll probably be a little bit more ducked. But bench seat's gonna go here, and then we'll begin our build out. Really excited with the brands we're working with here. Dometic and Zamp Solar. Zamp's here in Bend, and they're gonna hook us up with battery, solar panels, a Dometic fridge. That's gonna be awesome. And then we're working with Swell Vanco, and they're gonna help us do flooring, walls, ceiling, and kind of get the actual build out, you know, L-track down and all dialed in for moving bikes and people all over the country and into Canada for some fun bike trips. So first off, we'll compare the door openings here. This is 51.5 inches wide. No idea what the door opening will be on the Econoline, but we'll check that out. Width, we're at 69.5 inches, which is the full width here, not including the little step down there. So once you get back behind the usable kind of cargo area back here. Obviously this is without insulation or panels. That is 69 inches as well. So probably once we get inside of these beams here, that's gonna be 64 inches. So that's gonna probably be our working width inside this van. I don't exactly know yet where the seat is gonna go, but I imagine the back of the seat's gonna be somewhere right about here. And that'll put our kind of usable cargo length, let's see, at roughly 89 or so inches. And I think that's gonna be definitely a few more inches than we have. And then if we go full length, kind of from the driver cabin all the way back, that's gonna be just under 130 inches. And again, this is a 148 mid-roof. So we'll go with height. I'm gonna go off the top of this seam and to one of these beams here, since that'll be the closest I'm gonna get after we have wall and flooring in. So that's 69.5 inches. In the center at the highest point, it's 70.5 inches. So probably probably around 68 inches is what I'm gonna be left with once the floor is in and that ceiling's in. So let's see what else we got. Space between the wheel wells. That's 54.5 inches between the wheel wells. And between the walls here, I guess we'll do this next. At the narrowest section, we're looking at 69.25, and up here just a little bit wider at that cutout, 74.25 inches. And then we'll go here. (63.5 inches at the top. So let's go out to the back doors and check that out. Okay. Something that's pretty cool about this van compared to the Econolines is that I got the full open door option, so they will kind of lock and sit in here, but you can press, oh, where is that button at? New van problems. Oh, unlock. Talk door height opening. I'm gonna say that's 64 inches, which is definitely gonna be a big plus over the Econoline. Being able to walk, dirt bikes in, mountain bikes, all that sort of stuff will be way nicer as we'll get both of those doors out of the way. These panels swoop back, whereas the Econolines are pretty flat. So that'll definitely add a little more space for tire clearance as well. Bumper height, 21.5 inches to there. And then that's an additional 6.5. So if you're talking like ramps for rolling stuff in or stepping onto, the step bumper is nice because the E350 doesn't really have that, so it's a bit higher of a step, but yeah, 21.5 to get in there. All right, so the trusty E350, kind of as I was saying, a little bit of a flatter steering column there, kind of a more relaxed and traditional sit-in position. So cup holders, center console, door panels. I think the Transit might take the cake there a little bit. One thing that I didn't really love on really long drives is like how the doghouse sits for, where the engine is. Like it kind of would sometimes kick that right foot too far over. but you know, little nitpicky stuff that when you're driving, you know, 6, 8, 10 hours a day, you kind of start to notice. But overall, let's head over to the passenger side. We'll check out the barn doors there to get in and see what the width is and height for getting in. All right, door opening on this, 47.5 inches. The height here is, well, I'm gonna go to the inside of that since that's what you're gonna hit your head on. That is 53 inches. So I've got a conversion bench in mine. So this thing slides forward and flattens out into a bed. You can sleep 2 people on it, as long as you don't mind being tight. But plenty of room for people sitting in the back. It's pretty spacious and comfy, but let's go with the width here on this guy. So that's 63.5 inches. Well, let's go here. So to the edge of the step, it's 5 feet or 60 inches exactly, which we'll see what it is back here. That is 69 inches, pretty much full width, usable space. So let's open up the other, or the back doors there, and we'll kind of see what it looks like on the back end. So those doors open that far, don't have any magnets or locks. They give you pretty good access, which is nice, but again, the wind can get you. Sometimes we'll have to like strap them down if it's really windy out. But let's measure out the inside first, and then we'll get to the stand-in height. Inside wheel well to inside wheel well, 51.5 inches. Do you remember what the Transit was? I don't either. 51.5 inches, so I can't, we'll have to check this out here, and then we'll go back here. I'm at 67.5. And then height, obviously a little different. And that's on the biggest reason, well, there's a few big reasons I made the switch, but standing up in here is tough. It's 51.5 inches. And then we'll go length. So to the back of the bench seat is about 94.5 inches. And the other guy was 138. Well, that was all the way up to the front, wasn't it? So to the seat here, 138. Okay, so this is 139 inches, and the other guy I think was like God, what the hell was it? 145, something around there. So about 138 inches from the back seat, the back of the front seat to here, and then I don't remember what this was here. And from the back of the bench seat to here is 90. I mean, I'd say 94 inches to the end of the trim, but to where the door shuts, you might have 95.5, 96. Yeah, like 96 inches. I can fit 2 dirt bikes in here, full-size dirt bikes, and they fit lengthwise, they fit widthwise. So yeah, I'd say we did a build out video on the van where I kind of talked about what I did and how I took a passenger van and kind of made it work better for, you know, the needs and functions I had. And that got me, you know, a bit more stand-up room, got me some width, and I was able to keep the climate control in the back, which was really nice. Something that the Transit Cargo doesn't have for now. So stand-in height on this guy is 28 inches if you want to you know, truss getting on that tiny little 2 inches of bumper, you're looking at 28 inches. Rear door opening, did I measure that yet? I measured it on the other one, didn't I? So that's about 54 inches, and that is 49 inches. And to that head buster right there, that's 47 and a half. And that has busted some heads for sure. I think that's probably about all the key dimensions that you guys hopefully might find useful when comparing or deciding on if you want to save some money and go for a stylish and trusty Econoline or make the step up to a Transit. You know, no doubt that there is a lot more space inside. You know, there's also a lot more cost involved. So again, stay tuned. We're gonna be working on a pretty fun and in-depth build series. Dometic and Zamp Solar have hooked us up with some really awesome stuff. We're gonna be working right across the parking lot here with the guys over at Van Swelco. And yeah, possibly getting a lift installed. I'd love to hear from you guys what you think we should be putting on this Transit. Any brands or products that you think are really awesome or you'd like to see us check out and review, we'd love to hear it. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you out on the trails or the highways.